The story of this rum isn't just simply a tale. This is a story that started with a fishing trip, with guys going fishing and getting tired during the day and working real hard to catch fish, and coming home, eating a great supper, pouring themselves a rum, and sitting down around a campfire at night. That's where our story began. When we started the business, none of us knew what the others were capable of. I'm in it with people that I've known, but I've never known them on this level.
So I've been in the Bahamas a long, long time. I was born in Nassau, and I worked in the corporate space for a number of years, but in the final stages, it was just too overwhelming for me. So I took a year off, and I went fly fishing. It was like a decompression of my soul, like I couldn't believe.
I was an analyst for a hedge fund for a couple years, but I missed the outdoors and I missed the adventure. I started looking for an opportunity and kind of landed in fly fishing lodges when I bought a piece of land here in Abaco. And I put everything I had into it, everything I'd saved, and that's how I built Abaco Lodge, and that's how I ended up in the Bahamas.
A long time ago, I had two very kind friends that let me tag along on a trip to the Bahamas, and I immediately just fell in love. Fell in love like I've never fallen in love with a place in my life. I asked my wife to start dating me here. We got engaged here, and we got married here, and we have made 2 children here. So I'd say it's a pretty important part of us as a whole.
But what is it that makes this place so special? In the US and other cultures that I've been a part of, life there is pretty full on. You have to really work hard to slow down, to find your rhythm. It sort of happens naturally here in the environment that we live in. That's one of the greatest attributes of the Bahamas. It's the rhythm of life that's here.
The Bahamas will always be a big part of my life. It put me on a path to do a lot of what I do now. And I've made incredible lifelong friends. I've been to Clint and Graham's wedding. Flip and I got really close. There is and will always be kind of this connection to this place. From a fishery standpoint, I would argue that the Bahamas is probably the best quality saltwater fishing in the world. It's an intact, pristine ecosystem.
We were all brought here originally by a love of shallow water fishing.
And we begin with the relentless threat from Hurricane Dorian, rapidly strengthening over the past 24 hours to a monster Category 5 storm, striking the Bahamas with 185-mile-per-hour winds and now heading towards the U.S. mainland.
When Hurricane Dorian parked over this island, the worst of what I imagined is exactly what happened here.
Hurricanes in the Bahamas are just part of life. Right as the storm was getting ready to make landfall, it was very apparent that it was a monster and things didn't look good.
It was so devastating. Everybody in Marsh Harbor that we knew, including ourselves, lost our houses. Our family lost their houses. Every business I know was destroyed. It was a communal devastation.
It was just gone. I don't mean a little bit gone or a little bit wrecked. I mean gone. A hole in the ground gone.
Graham, who started his family here, and suddenly that hurricane relocated him.
I mean, when Dorian started coming, my wife was 8.5 months pregnant. You kind of go through that process where all your friends decide, are they leaving or staying? And almost everybody stayed.
Oliver, who had a fabulous fishing lodge in the marls of Abaco, completely destroyed.
Abaco Lodge got to be something really special. Right before Dorian, it was named one of the top 10 fishing lodges in the world. And then it just went away in an instant. You know, it was really sad, but at the same time, right, like that wasn't the biggest concern at the time. The rum journey was always focused here in Abaco. It was not only the birthplace of it, but it was also where we all gathered and where we talked about it. That was the foundation this whole thing was built on, and Dorian kind of took that away.
It's a place that we all love and think about returning to, and we all have different reasons for coming back. This is the first time in 3 years, I mean, since the pandemic started, that the 4 of us have been together. If anybody can come back, we can. This is really where Frigate Reserve started. before Dorian. There were a few of us, good friends, who loved rum, sitting around a campfire at a bonefish lodge down the road.
We're all by this fire and everybody loves rum. Oliver had his rum that he liked. Flip had his rum. Clint had his rum, and they were all different. Rum was them. It was their life. It took them to someplace special.
And Graham was going on and on and on about how rum needs to be restored back to its original place of prominence and how it's been reduced to a mixer drink and da-da. And finally, I think Flip looked at him and just said, Graham, why don't you shut the fuck up and just go do it? And Graham's response is great. He goes, by God, I will. That started a quest that all of us sort of just took another sip of rum and went, okay, here we go.
Oliver was the voice of reason, and he went, look, we don't know what we're doing. We can't make rum, and we don't want to just make rum. If we were going to get into this, we wanted to make the best rum there was. Not almost the best, but the best.
I was like, yeah, sure, man, that sounds great. We don't know shit about making rum. We don't know anything about bottling or rum or anything. But it is a unique cast of characters, and the four of us think about things in a very different way. But we're all trying to get to the same place. And together, that makes a really strong team.
Graham was the boilerplate. He could dig and find out what we needed to do. And so we managed to associate ourselves with Don Pancho Fernandez, the finest master distiller in the world.
When we had the conversation about the fire pit that night, I said, boys, I've got the bottle for the rum. I remembered a bottle I found 30 years ago. There was this amazing bottle just sitting on a rocky beach up north here in Abaco. I picked it up, put it in my bag, put it on a shelf. Come to find out the bottle was somewhere in the mid-1600s, made hand-blown English rum bottle. And so now this is the shape of the bottle. It's a great story of things coming full circle over 400 years ago.
There was some moment where I could see the entire path, and I could see how everybody came together. Flip is a hammer, Clint is the nails, and Oliver is the lumber, and I'm just the guy trying to build the house.
I remember all the conversations over the design and the logo and the bottle, and learning how rum is actually made and how we could create an aged product.
And then all of a sudden, here were cases of rum, and it was ours, and it came from our brains around a campfire in the Bahamas.
It was never intended to be a product for customers or product testing and taste testing and public opinion it wasn't that. It was for the four of us. It was for us sitting at that campfire saying, what if we had a rum of our own?
Took our rum to the last International Rum Symposium, 21-year offering, won a gold medal for best rum in the entire symposium. We were never interested in just bringing another rum to market. We were interested from the very beginning in bringing the best rum to market. And I think we did.
As a blue water fisherman my entire life, every time you see a frigate bird, you know something's good getting ready to happen. Your luck's getting ready to change.
The frigate is the searcher of the sea, and what they're looking for as an angler, you're looking for. You're out in the ocean and you see, frigate circling, then that's where you want to go.
The frigate bird represents complete, total freedom. I think I could say that each of us has lived our lives our own way. Each of us has walked away from the ability to have a job where we worked for others. And the cost of that is security, and the payoff is freedom. To the four of us, the life that we've chosen is very similar to the life that that bird lives. It's all about life on the wing.
When you get a community of friends together, the things that are going to happen are just amazing.
There's something special about sitting by any fire. It just started this conversation. It wasn't even like, hey, we should do this. It was like, how cool would it be if we did something like this? And almost always those things just die right there. The fact that created this path we're on now is kind of amazing.
The campfire is where this began. Let's think of every person that enjoys our rum as somebody that we would pull up to that campfire.
I think all of us at some point in our lives have an adventure where we risk falling on our sword, and it's okay to do that. This appears to be an adventure where we have success.
When the sun starts to set, it's hard to forget about the time.
At my age, there aren't a lot of things that come along that are hugely stimulating and challenging. You're mostly looking backwards at this point in your life. And so this gave me this wonderful opportunity to look into the future, allowing me to look forward.
'Cause the bonfire blues got me missing you neath the big blue moon. In the September sun, oh, it really ain't much fun knowing I can't wake up next to you.